I am 79 years old, and in the last year I lost my wife, and the life I thought would carry me to the end. I am saying that plainly because there is no softer way to begin, and because at my age, pretending it still hurts less than it does would be dishonest. I wake up now with the same awareness every morning that there is more behind me than ahead, and that most of what mattered has already happened. I am not saying this for comfort, and I am not saying it to be brave. It is simply the way the days feel now, thin and quiet, like rooms after the furniture has been taken out. I live alone in the same house we shared for 56 years. The walls still hold our habits, even if the sounds are gone. When I speak, my voice seems louder than it should be, and sometimes I catch myself lowering it, as if she might be asleep in the next room and I don't want to wake her. When she died, it wasn't dramatic. There was no sudden collapse, no last speech that tied things together. She got sick, slowly, and then she didn't get better. The end arrived the way most things do at my age, without ceremony, without permission, and without asking whether you're ready. Before that year, I thought I understood loss. I had buried parents, a brother, old friends. But losing your wife is different. It is not just losing a person. It is losing the structure of your days, the witness to your life, the one person who knew the whole version of you, including the parts you never explained. I keep talking about the year because that is how it feels, like everything collapsed inside 12 months. She died in the spring. By winter, the routines that had carried me since my 20s no longer made sense. Retirement had already taken my work. Her death took the rest. When I was younger, in my 20s and 30s, my life looked ordinary, and at the time, that felt like success. I worked steady hours. I came home tired. I fixed what broke. We saved what we could. We told ourselves we were building something solid, something that would eventually slow down and reward us. I met her when I was 23. She had a quiet laugh and a way of listening that made you finish your thoughts more carefully. We married young, mostly because that was what people did then, and because we liked the idea of choosing something and sticking to it. I worked in logistics for most of my life. It was not important work, but it was reliable. I knew where I was supposed to be every morning. I knew how much I would earn. I knew how the days would end. That mattered to me more than ambition ever did. Our evenings were simple, dinner at the same time, the news on low, sometimes a conversation about money, sometimes about the kids, sometimes about nothing at all. We assumed there would always be another evening to talk about the things we didn't finish. The children grew as children do, without asking whether you're paying attention closely enough. I missed some school events. I missed some small moments. I told myself it was necessary. I told myself I would make it up later, when work eased, when life slowed down. The truth is, life does not slow down on its own. It just moves past you and then, one day, stops offering chances. The costs didn't arrive all at once. They came quietly. A postponed trip, a conversation put off because one of us was tired, a habit of saying later and believing it meant something specific. My wife used to ask me to sit with her in the evenings, not always to talk, sometimes just to be in the same room without the television on. I often stayed in my chair instead, reading or dozing. I thought proximity was enough. I didn't realize how thin that assumption was. When she got sick, I became practical. I learned medication schedules. I organized appointments. I cooked more than I ever had. I was proud of how capable I was. It did not occur to me that capability is not the same as presence. Her illness took months, long enough to adjust to it, long enough to believe there would be a plateau where things stayed manageable. I don't remember the exact day I understood she wasn't coming back from it. I only remember the shift, when hope stopped feeling responsible and started feeling naive. The moment of irreversibility didn't feel like a moment at all. It felt like a series of small confirmations, a look from a doctor, a change in tone, a sentence that ended with silence instead of reassurance. When she died, I held her hand. That detail matters to me because it is one of the few things I know I did right. But holding her hand at the end did not make up for all the times I had not held it when there was time. What is permanently lost is not just her presence. It is the shared memory of our life. No one else remembers the early apartments, the jokes that never made sense to anyone else, the way our arguments ended. That record is gone now, and so is the future we assumed would follow a familiar pattern. Time, once it is gone, does not return as wisdom or meaning. It simply disappears. That is the hardest thing to accept at this age. There is no exchange rate. There is no correction. After she died, the days became dangerous in a quiet way. Not because I wanted to disappear, but because there was nothing to hold them in place. I would wake up and realize there was no reason to stand up at a particular time. Meals lost their shape. Sleep drifted. I am not proud of how close I came to vanishing into that softness. It would have been easy to let the days blur until they stopped feeling separate. I could feel myself thinning out, becoming less specific, less anchored. The routine I built was not heroic. It was not clever. It was necessary. I started waking up at the same time every morning, even when there was no reason to. I made the bed, not because it mattered, but because it was a signal that the day had begun. I ate breakfast standing at the counter the way I always had, even though I was alone now. I walked the same route every afternoon, past the same houses, past people who did not know me and did not need to. Familiarity became a form of stability. It kept me from floating too far away from myself. I spoke her name out loud, not in prayer, not in performance, just in ordinary sentences. I did this because silence can erase things if you let it. I am telling you this not as advice, but as fact. At 79, you do not build a new life. You build something that keeps the old one from collapsing inward. If you are listening and you are younger than I am not asking you to change anything. I am only telling you that the things you postpone do not wait patiently. They leave without drama. I wish I had understood that presence is not something you add later when the important work is done. It is the work. I wish I had known that routine, when shared, becomes memory, and when lost, becomes absence. I do not expect to be remembered widely. Most of us aren't. I expect only to be remembered accurately by the few who knew me, and now that list is shorter than it used to be. There are days when the routine holds. There are days when it doesn't. Both are part of being alive at this age. I am not hopeful in the way people like to talk about hope. I am accepting. I wake up. I move through the hours. I keep my footing. That is enough. If there is anything left to say, it is this. The life you are living will one day become the only one you remember. Choose carefully what fills it, because later there is no space to rearrange it. I have limited time now. I know that. I am not afraid of it. I am simply aware, and awareness at 79 is as close to peace as I expect to get.